The Finnish culture that we understand today comes from the Finno-Ugric, or actually Baltic-Finnish people. Baltic-Finnish languages, for example, were still almost like 2,000 years ago. And our cultures are very, very similar. Our languages are similar, and the mathematics of our languages are especially similar. And why mathematics are spoken when it comes to language? Well, language is about resonance and harmonies. Singing and sounds are the original way of communication. When we think about like whales singing and communicating like that, or birds, so for us human beings also, singing is like the original communication, and language is all about communication. And in the Baltic Finnish, amongst Baltic Finnish people, this sort of singing of poems and runes, these sort of very ancient way of folk singing, has been a way to pass on the culture, the knowledge, the mythology, these very essential, deep core factors that shape a human culture. In the north, amongst the Baltic Finnish nations, singing these songs, these folk runes, these folk poems, that has been the way to pass this essential knowledge. And in Finnish we call it runolaulu, and this instrument is a very traditional in the Finnish or Baltic Finnish nations. This has been used a lot to accompany a rune singing, but rune singing has been done also in a very organic sort of, without any equipment, without any instruments. It has been a way of sort of living life. When we've been doing our basic sauna bathing, when we've been doing our cooking, when we've been doing our hunting, when we've gone to the forest, when we've gone to the fields, when we've made clothes, all of this have been done singing, like singing. There is this Walt Disney famous movie, Snow White, and in this movie they sing something like that, always sing whilst you're working, when they're cleaning the house. And this has been very true in the Baltic Finnish nations. Singing has played a vital part in sort of connecting the mundane and the everyday activities to this ancient, ever-old mythological wisdom, and sort of the mythical story has been lived through by singing all our activities. In Finnish, the word laulu or laula, which means song or to sing, it sort of etymologically connects to the idea of to wed or to connect to wedding, or to wed someone. So yeah, this connects the resonance of sort of sound with the words. And many times these are sort of sacred words, this, especially when we talk about loitsu, which is a very specific form of this runolaulu. This loitsu means like words of creation, from etymologically. It comes from the root word which refers to creating. And they have been also very like sort of secret or entrusted words. So you have been sort of, you've received this wisdom when you've received these loitsus, and they have been sung to you. Singing has been the way to pass information and also to memorize information. This is a language that has not been written. This is the oral tradition, the oral way of passing wisdom and knowledge. And in the Finland area, here in the north, the written languages came quite lately. So this way of singing has been till very recent days practiced in Finland, and especially Karelia side, Inkeri side. Estonia has a lot of this still vital and practiced amongst families and people. So singing has been the way of our life. And there is this idea that at least for 2000 years, when all these Baltic Finnish languages were still united, because all of the Baltic Finnish languages have this similar runolaulu, which has the similar mathematics, similar form. So this tells us that this has been an existing culture at least for 2000 years, and who knows for how long more, but at least minimum of that. And yes, practice still the modern day, and especially in the form of lullabies and this sort of like practices, it's still in the modern Finland practiced. Many of these ancient mathematics of this rune singing is practiced in the form of lullabies and some special occasion songs. And in the sauna, of course. Sauna is a place where we really use the resonance of sound to heal ourselves. And it is amazing what singing does to even if we look at just the physical level of the body, how it relaxes your diaphragm and your pelvic floor and your throat, and what this does when these big, important sort of cavity holders, when they relax, how it frees your whole breathing, but also the whole fluids of your body start flowing better. And so singing and different types of sound work is a very essential part of the sauna healing culture that has been traditionally practiced. And now in the modern day, we are trying to revive it, especially in the form of these sauna songs and sauna runes, sauna poems, this sauna loitsu that we use. Loitsus are also, it's not just about the sound, it's also the mathematics of the language is a very harmonious, and it can be found surprisingly in different cultures, like in some Sanskrit mantras, the same mathematics are found. So there is something very essential about it. Nature has this tendency of creating something always with the same patterns. And when you start finding these universal patterns, you realize that there is something very fundamental in it. So yes, the mathematics of these songs is very important. Singing, just as an activity of releasing the sound, your voice to express as it wants to express. Traditional singing is not a technique. You cannot do it wrong or right. It's about really releasing your voice to express, and thus releasing your whole self to express as it wishes. You are really your bare self in the sauna, but also when you're singing. You don't have much to cover you. It just comes out as it does. Especially in this traditional way where it's not a technique that you practice. And it used to be every person's practice. Everybody used to sing, not just some singers or performers, but everybody in their day-to-day life used to sing and thus heal themselves whilst doing their everyday chores. And in the sauna loitsu, we want to really recreate this, but also we want to use these words that have been very, very like specifically selected. Selected may be a bad word, but from generation to generation, these certain songs, certain spells have been passed on. These spells are the sort of language beyond language, and they describe these mythological truths, which are these truths that are mythology. I love it. Somebody wise has said that mythology is a story that has never happened, but it's always true. So mythology describes, like mathematics, these fundamental patterns of life and nature. And these patterns have been then put in the form of language and form of songs, easy to remember, easy to always bring to practice in the form of these songs. So that's why we want to use these traditional spells and traditional runes when we perform our rituals and healing practices. And of course, singing unites. When you join your voices together, it's a very strong connection. Also, when you sing for somebody, it's a very intimate connection that is brought into that situation. Like, think about a mother singing a lullaby to the baby, or us when you join together and sing together, you really become like one. So singing in the sauna, but singing also everywhere is a very beautiful and very fundamental practice of human nature. And there has been this tuohikirja, I don't know what's it in English, but from the 1200, from around the year 1200, that has been found and recorded, a written note in Cyril writings, but when they've been interpreting it, one interpretation is that it is actually in this rune singing metrics or this mathematics. So there is again another like example of how incredibly ancient this practice has been, and how incredibly fundamental it is, and how when you start practicing this singing in this traditional way, how you can really connect to the generations before, to something so ancient and ever old, something beyond time and space. And Finnish language is very unique. It's one of the most oldest, most ancient European languages. So singing in Finnish has a very special power, but obviously singing is found in every culture. So there is some very important power also singing in your own mother tongue. So find your own folk songs and maybe practice those, but also you can join me and learn some basic Finnish songs. I will be also guiding them in these YouTube videos to come. And I actually have already shared a couple earlier. So yeah, sing away. Let your voice express the unique, amazing voice that you have, because nobody else in this whole wide world can give this voice to the world that you have to give. So all of us, we have our own unique voice, and let it not stay hidden, because freeing your voice is really freeing yourself, your true nature to express. Mistäs tiesit tänne tulla? Tulin pitkin Turun tietä.